Quick fact, a family in Austin doubled their auto liability insurance as well as found a gap on their homeowner's policy that prevented coverage for water backup on their home. They were able to fix both of these items and pay hardly any more premium at all. And how did that occur? It occurred because they participated in a policy review. Hi, I'm Jeff Shropshire with Shropshire Insurance of Texas, and I'm excited to introduce to you our policy review program. It is a wonderful program for anybody who owns a home, who has homeowners insurance, auto insurance. This is a great, no obligation, no sales pressure service that we provide here at Shropshire Insurance of Texas. Yes, we're located right here in Lubbock, Texas. We love Lubbock, but guess what? We have a lot of customers throughout the whole state of Texas, so we're able to provide this service to you if you have a home here or an auto here in Texas. We can review any of your policies or both of them. It's very exciting. The program of being up in policy review is different than getting quotes. We're not interested in trying to get you to change insurance carriers. We're not interested in trying to move into the quoting process. To truly do what we want to do, a policy review has to be separate from that. And what it entails is us gathering a lot of information and working with you by evaluating your current insurance policies that you may or may not have, and then spend time talking with you about your life. We need to know about your life and the stage of life where you are, the assets that you have, and the things that you need to take care of. One of the things we find out during the policy review is a lot of people haven't had one in a long time. They've had insurance forever, but they've never really gotten into going through the process of doing a really strong review. I don't know why it is. Some people don't really want to talk to people about these things, but it's very important if you care about the assets that you've purchased and you care about making sure that you're protected in case you had an at-fault accident or somebody gets hurt, that you are protected the way you want to be protected. You may have had insurance policies in place for 10 or 20 years that are outdated. Some of them need to be increased. Some of them need to be reduced. And we have come together with this policy review system to share our knowledge with you to help you identify those things and make recommendations or give you things to think about that you can look on your current program to see if you want to pursue. It's a real simple process. In this little video here, you're going to find out all about it. But of course, we are going to ask for your policies, your current insurance policies. And a lot of times, insurance policies, I don't want to get all those. Well, you need to get all of them. You need to get the whole policy with all the endorsements, because you may have us reviewing a policy that we don't represent that carrier and we wouldn't have access to. Every policy in Texas now is almost different when you have endorsements, when you have all these different things. So we need the whole guts of the whole homeowners, the whole guts of the auto, the excess policy. If you have a valuable items policy, we need it all with everything on there, because we want to be able to see everything that we can see so we can match those policies to your life. We're also going to need you to give us a little time. Time is going to be something that we need to talk with you about. If you're in Lubbock, man, we urge you to come in and spend some time with us. But if you're not, we can do a Zoom call. We can do it over the phone, but it's not for any other reasons other than we need to ask you some questions about your life. Then we'll go through the process of these areas that I'm about to talk about, and then we'll share with you the results, and you can do with them whatever you wish to do. But at least when you walk away from a policy review with Shropshire Insurance of Texas, hopefully you're going to have more confidence in the direction of either what you have or what you need and making sure your family's protected. So we'll start with the big items first. Well, of course, we'll look at your homeowner's policy if you have one. If you don't own a home, you should have a tenant policy. If you don't have that, you probably need to call us or call somebody to discuss one of those two. If you're living somewhere, usually you need one of them. But on a homeowner's policy, we're going to dive in and start looking at the basic items, the replacement cost value of your home, the deductibles. We'll discuss the areas of wind and hail deductibles, which is driving everybody crazy here in Texas now. We know they've all gone up, but we're going to look at those. We can look at the other deductibles too. Maybe there's some things there that you can do to save you money. Then we're going to go through some of the line items to see where your homeowner's policy covers and where does it stop. Some of those things that are endorsed on, such as water backup, like we talked about a minute ago, ordinance or law, equipment breakdown, foundation coverage. Those sorts of things are coverages that can be endorsed on, but we need to see if you need them or if you want them. You may have them and you don't want them. You may need them and you need to get them. The policy review will help break that down for you. We're also going to discuss some things inside the policy review because we're always looking for ways to get you credits. Where we get you credits with carriers, and credits are hard to come by, but boy, there's certain areas such as how old is your roof? What is the roof made out of? What updates have you done to your home? Well, anything and everything. Do you have shut-off valves for your water? Do you have sensors? Do you have anything that we could tell an insurance carrier or you would give to your current carrier and say, this is why I need the best price? Well, the policy review will help us determine that so you can walk away and know how you can go out and maybe fight for better items. You know what's even weirder than that is really how you pay your bill. Some carriers, if you don't know, so you may be set up on an EFT draft monthly, boom, boom, boom. But you may find out there's some significant changes through the policy review process that if you paid in full or you paid 2 times a year, if that's something you can afford, you can dramatically save money. So we're not just looking only at the coverages, we're going to look at the ways to save you money. As well as in the automobile policy, we're going to look at your liability limits. We're going to look at your uninsured liability limits because those are extremely important because if they have not been updated or changed in the last 10 or 20 years, you may be like most people, underinsured. The values of claims in regards to bodily injury and the price of these vehicles, they've gotten extraordinary. Do you have enough coverage? Well, let's talk about it during the policy review and see if there's ways or if there's things you need to do to increase. It's fine one way or the other. It's not something to worry about, but you need to know. This is the best way to find out. You have also those coverages for comprehensive and collision coverage, the damage to your vehicle. But many times we found that people have left those deductibles the same for years. They haven't explored raising them to save money. They also haven't explored, does every vehicle need to have that on there? Some cars have gotten so old and they don't have a lien holder that they really don't need to have the coverage, but you're paying $200 to $300 or $400 a year for something that really has no value to you. And then through the question process, we can find out if you need ancillary coverages on an auto policy, such as rental car coverage, roadside assistance, towing. Those are wonderful things to have if you need them. But we find that through the policy review process that sometimes those things have been duplicated. Some of you already have AAA. Some of you already have a plan through a credit card on how you would do a rental car coverage. There's many ways to skin cats on protecting your family, and a policy review helps identify those things because we don't want to have you paying for something twice. We're going to talk about excess policies. Most families in Texas need an excess policy because the liability limits on their homeowners and the liability limits on their auto just aren't enough in the event of a major catastrophe, especially in terms of auto. Excess policies provide limits at $1 million increments that sit on top of those. We're going to discuss the need for that because when you look in your auto policy and you look at maybe youthful drivers, who's driving, who shouldn't be driving, we go through all that questions on your auto policy. But then the thing is, if we had a multiple car accident, if we had serious injuries with multiple people, do you have enough? And if the answer is no, we need to look at an excess policy, but you at least need to learn what they are. So you have the great questions to ask us or your current insurance carrier. We're going to break down some of those items such as jewelry, watches, furs, computer equipment, musical instruments. My gosh, how crazy those are. Collectibles, any of those things that sometimes there's an assumption that they're automatically covered under a homeowner's policy. And sometimes they are if they're endorsed with the valuable items policy, or sometimes they need to be on their own separate policy. But a standard homeowner's policy that's not endorsed with any of these items provides very, very little coverage for jewelry, watches, furs, musical equipment, and usually it's negated only to something like theft. Man, there's a lot of people who have a lot of values in either guns or jewelry or all these things with musical instruments that you need to at least talk with us about so we can figure out a plan during the policy review process if those are things that you need to look at to add on and make sure they're covered. Then there's flood. Well, what's a flood? Well, flood in insurance terms means that the pooling or the saturation of water that comes down pretty much from the sky. It can be heavy rain. It could be snow melt. It could be things that have accumulated and then come in through the building. It is not Your water pipe breaking, that's usually covered under your homeowner's policy. You still have to check to make sure. Some homeowners policies leave that off. We would help you go through that as well. But for this conversation of flood, it's usually the rising waters. We're going to discuss with you about that because it doesn't matter if you live in a flood zone or not. Everybody is susceptible to flood. And if you're not required to have a flood policy, they're actually cheaper. Have you talked about that? Do you know how much they could run or cost? Those are things we'll help you in the policy review for questions you can ask. We'll also go through, again, all the areas of trying to make sure that there's things that you could be doing or should be doing to save you money. We want to give you things if you're planning ahead of what you're looking at, of when you're future going to be purchasing vehicles or maybe looking at a new house. Here's some tools and some things you need to think about for in the future. At Shropshire Insurance of Texas, the policy review process is one of the most fun things we do because we truly get to reach out and help anybody and everybody with their questions and ideas without that heaviness and pressure of a sell, because we know that no one likes that process. Now, if you needed help with your insurance, we will be glad to help you, but that's only going to be at your direction, not at ours. So we ask that you'll pick up the phone, call Shropshire Insurance of Texas. You can call us. You can go to our website at shropshireinsurance.com. There's a little button up there that says policy review. You can click on that and start the process immediately, or there's an email on that page too. But let's start right now making sure that your home, your auto, your personal policies match lifestyle. So reach out to us as soon as you can. We're looking forward to hearing from you, and we thank you. And remember to always check on shropshireinsurance.com. We also have an active YouTube channel at Shropshire Insurance of Texas with multiple videos, multiple resources that you can look at any time. This video will also be on there as well. Thank you very much, and we hope you have a blessed day.